So I've been saying for a really long time that I don't think that Shang-Chi is going to do that well at the box office, and the numbers that came out recently have said nothing but the same thing as that, and I'll show you that in 1 second. But for simply no other reason than I think Shang-Chi's interest level when it comes to the MCU, especially in comparison to the past MCU movies, and even in comparison to the future MCU movies, stuff like Spiderman and Doctor Strange, Thor Ragnarok, or not Thor Ragnarok, but the next Thor movie that's coming out soon, the interest level for Shang-Chi is just not up there with those movies, and there's really no arguing against that point. But a lot of people come after me every single time I say that Shang-Chi is going to flop. They say, you haven't even seen the movie yet. How do you know it's going to flop? Well, that's simply because a movie being good and a movie doing well at the box office don't always correlate with each other. They don't always go hand in hand. There are a lot of other movies out there who are really good movies. They are really, really good movies, and they just did really well at the box office, and also vice versa. There's a lot of really bad movies out there. Pretty much every single Fast and Furious movie after like the second or third one, they do pretty well at the box office, and yet they're still really bad movies, at least in my opinion. You can argue with me if you want in the comments. I know I'll get a lot of hate for saying that, but I just don't think Fast and Furious movies are good movies at all. I really, really dislike them. But anyway, back to Shang-Chi. I don't think that movie is going to do that well at the box office. Like I said, simply because the interest level was already low, and then they've done a lot of other things in between the start of the marketing for Shang-Chi up until this point. Not only have they been marketing the Eternals over Shang-Chi, they kind of cross-marketed those two movies, but now they're adding in Spider-Man No Way Home into the mix, and I think they kind of got their hand forced because the trailer got leaked for Spider-Man No Way Home. I don't think they wanted to cross-market all three. I think they wanted to at least wait until Shang-Chi came out and then maybe show some trailers for Spider-Man during Shang-Chi, before Shang-Chi. But now that they're cross-marketing all three movies, two movies in Shang-Chi and Eternals that I don't think had high interest in the first place, I don't think they were going to do that well at the box office in the first place, even if they are really good movies, because let's face it, the only reason why Shang-Chi has any interest at all, I saw a Reddit post the other day saying, where did all the hype for Shang-Chi go? Well, the answer is the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer took all the hype, but the only reason why Shang-Chi had any hype in the first place is because the reviews for the movie came out and they were really, really good. I will give you that. Even people that I know, people that I trust, went to see that movie early and they gave good reviews. So even I'm kind of excited to go see that movie. I will be going to see it on Thursday if I can. As you can tell, I'm kind of in a little situation here, but hopefully if I can go see it on Thursday, I'll be going to see it on Thursday. So I'm pretty excited to see that movie, but I don't know a lot of other people, a lot of casual fans out there who are excited to see Shang-Chi. And whenever I mention Shang-Chi to them, they don't even know what it is. People who have seen Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, they don't even know what Shang-Chi is, much less the Eternals, which hasn't been marketed as heavily as Shang-Chi has yet. But anyway, let's get into the articles that I have for this video. I'll bring them up for you in 1 second. As you can see, this article from Bounding Into Comics says Shang-Chi is expected to have the worst opening weekend ever for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And that's actually a surprise to me because I thought simply because they were releasing the movie in the theaters for 45 days, because if you don't know, they're not doing the day and date release with Disney Plus for this movie. I think it's kind of an experiment is what they're calling it, is what Bob Chapek and Disney are calling it. They're going to release it in theaters only for 45 days. So I thought that would alone make it have a better opening weekend than Black Widow and some of the other movies that have opened pretty low for Marvel. But I guess even the 45-day only theater release isn't going to save this movie simply because the hype just isn't there for this movie. It is what it is. You can say whatever you want about Shang-Chi. All these people that apparently have been big fans of Shang-Chi since the beginning of time, they're coming out the woodworks. But I don't think in their hearts, I don't think that they really knew who Shang-Chi was. I think that they're just acting like they're diehard Shang-Chi fans because it's the cool thing to do. But I don't think they ever knew who Shang-Chi was before he was announced to come into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but that's just me. Maybe they did. I don't know. I know a lot of people who are diehard comic fans who never knew who Shang-Chi was in the first place. But there's even people out there like Yellow Flash who has pretty much made their YouTube channel around comic book news, around manga news and stuff like that, and he even admitted that he didn't know who Shang-Chi was before he was announced to be in the MCU. So all these people coming out the woodwork saying that they were big Shang-Chi fans since the beginning of time, they're most likely lying to you. And I would tell you, I know for a fact that the general public, that the casual audience won't be there for this movie like they are for other Marvel movies, like more established characters, like a third Captain America movie or a third Iron Man movie or a third Thor movie. They're not going to be there for the origin story of Shang-Chi. Maybe once Shang-Chi gets established, maybe if this movie is really good, then after the fact, they'll realize, oh, this movie was actually pretty good. I can't wait to see the second one. But as of now, for this origin story, they will not show up to the movie theaters. They will not boost this movie's box office, and there is no question about it. Box office tracking website Box Office Pro predicted earlier this month that Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is only expected to have an opening weekend between 35 million and 55 million. If this prediction holds, Shang-Chi will have the worst opening weekend in the MCU universe ever. The current holder of that title is Universal's The Incredible Hulk star Edward Norton and Liv Tyler, that was released back in 2008. So I think that 35 million to 55 million is probably about about right. I'm surprised that Black Widow opened to something bigger than that. I thought that Black Widow would have opened to something less than 35 million, or at least less than 55 million. I think that this movie is probably going to open to around 45, maybe even 50 million. I think it's going to be to the larger side of that 35 to 55 million prediction, and I think that's only going to be because this movie is going to be in theaters only for 45 days. I don't think it has anything to do with anything else. I think that just releasing this movie in theaters only is really going to save this movie from being an absolute failure. Not only is Shang-Chi predicted to have the worst opening weekend in MCU history, but it's predicted to be the worst performing MCU film at the domestic box office for its entire run in theaters. I think, honestly, I kind of disagree with that. I think that if this movie does hold up, if the reviews that we've been getting holds up for the general audience and all these casual people go see this movie and they end up leaving really good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, I think that this movie could have some serious legs if it really is that good. Now, I don't know if it's really going to be that good, but if it is that good, it could have some serious legs. I don't think it's going to be that, I don't think it's going to make $1 billion. There's no way it makes $1 billion, but it could, if it really grows these legs, if it really gets these good reviews, it could make 700 million, which is pretty big for a Marvel movie, especially in the time period that we're in. Box Office Pro predicts the film will earn between 100 million and 165 million. That is really, really bad. Looking at the top end, if Shang-Chi earns 165 million, the only film it would best would be The Incredible Hulk, which grossed 134 million at the domestic box office. Man, if it only makes 165 million at the domestic box office, even if that's on the high end of the prediction, if it only makes 165 million domestically, that's a huge flop for Marvel, and honestly, that's going to cause some huge problems for the future of the MCU. If that really does happen, and then if we get another flop with Eternals right after, which is being predicted by this same website, it's also predicting that Eternals will flop as well. Not as bad as Shang-Chi, but it's still going to flop. It's still going to lose money. They really need Spider-Man. They really, really need Spider-Man to do extremely well and to save the MCU. The MCU needs saving if these two movies flop as bad as they're projected to flop. This is also a huge problem when it comes to Shang-Chi because we all know that this movie was made to appeal to that Chinese audience, to try to capture that Chinese market. We all know that all these big studios want that so badly. For whatever reason, they know that the Chinese market is very valuable, so they really want to capture it, but China is not showing this movie, and the report from this article from Bounding Into Comics as well says Hollywood losing ground in China as audiences grow tired of incessant pandering. So China already knew whenever this movie was made, it was made to pander to China, and now they're not even going to show the movie in their theaters for multiple reasons. I don't think that that's the only reason. They also said stuff that they had some problems with the lead actor of Simu Liu, who was playing Shang-Chi. So they also had problems with that. But also, it definitely plays a big part that they know they're not stupid. They know that they're pandering to China. They know they're trying to capture their market. They know that they're trying to profit off of and kind of manipulate their market to the best of their ability. And China can see that. So they're just going to straight up not show their movies in theaters anymore. And I think this might cause big problems not only for Shang-Chi, but also for the future of the MCU, where they do, and also Star Wars. It's everything that Disney owns. Really, they pander to China quite a bit. So everything that Disney owns, all these big studios making these big films like Star Wars and Marvel, they're going to have big issues if they can't sell in China at all. Let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. What do you think about Shang-Chi probably going to flop at the box office? What do you think what is your prediction? Let me know what your prediction is in the comments. How much money do you think Shang-Chi will make opening weekend and overall in the 45-day theater release? I think it'll probably make around 300 million total globally in its 45-day release, and probably around 45, maybe 50 million in opening weekend domestically. But let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. If you did enjoy this video though, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow me on Twitter, the links to that will be in the description as well. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope to see you in the next one.